Hey, it's me, Vicki Marie, and a very quick video. My voice is getting worse by the minute. I'm going to just release this later. I just wanted to show you this. So I think it's an interview you may not have seen. So Seth, we're talking about Sebastian Rogers here, the Sebastian Rogers case. 15-year-old autistic boy who disappeared. Literally walked out of his house on the morning, I think it was the 27th of February, 26th, disappeared completely. We don't know any more since then, really. There's been false sightings. That's been about it. Nothing else. Vanished without a trace. We went through the timeline in a previous video. Anyway, there was a vigil. It looks like it was here he is, Sebastian. Looks like it was a lovely vigil the other night, and Seth was there, and his new PR guru, Tony, Phony Tony as I call him. He's not sold me on his, efficiency as a PR guy yet, but he might get better. But so far, all I can see is he's just stirred up a hornet's nest of allegations and spite and controversy, more controversy, and all that matters is this boy, Sebastian, coming home. I'm sure Seth, his father, wants him to come home. Not that he lives with Seth, so we must remember that. Sebastian was living with his mother, Katie, and his stepfather, Chris. And a lot of people are very down on Katie and Chris. They may have had something to do with him disappearing, but we have no evidence yet. So I'll wait until we find any evidence that anybody's done anything wrong. And until then, I won't be casting aspersions on Chris or Katie or Seth, not to the extent of him doing something wrong. I haven't liked his behaviour. But then, of course, he's getting tenser and tenser as time goes on. And his son is his son. His son is not materialising. Here's a nice picture of his son, him with his son when he was a baby. Why do men always do that rough and tumble? It's terrifying when you're watching it. You always think they're going to drop him. But of course, the kids love it, and the fathers or the men seem to love it. It doesn't have to be a father. It used to happen with my son everywhere I went. There'd always be some guy there who wanted to live there and, this, that, and the other. Anyway, that's what men like doing. And the kids love it. But anyway, so I just thought we'd have a look at this interview with Seth and Phony Tony at the vigil. And we're going to look at the interview. So let's see.
Mark, a missing teenager's father wants an overhaul to the investigation. Good evening and welcome to News 2 at 5. I'm Bob Mueller. 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers disappeared from Sumner County back in February. Now his father tells News 2's Nikki McGee how he wants the investigation to change.
This week will mark 3 months since Sebastian Rogers went missing. And as you might imagine, his father Seth has mounting concerns, some of which he shared with News 2 during a bike ride vigil held for Sebastian Sunday.
I don't sense a state of urgency from them. It's not their kid.
He gets very tearful, Seth, which is, you feel like he's sort of disintegrating almost in front of our eyes. That's how it feels to me. I can see Tony's there with him. Tony's a tall guy, isn't he? One thing I did notice him in the vigil was very well attended, wasn't it? Which was nice to see. Lots of motorbikes. Tony's a very tall guy, isn't he? Or is Seth a very short guy? I don't know which way around. Probably a bit of both. Tony seems to be looking at Seth sort of concernedly. Seth is a bit of a loose cannon. You never know really what he's going to say, what he's going to come out with. He's obviously given up on the collared shirts for Seth that he started off trying to make him wear. Tony's wearing a shirt, not a Have You Seen Me t-shirt, but it's a green shirt. So I don't know whether that was orchestrated or not. Still, I'm not keen on Tony. We'll see what happens. Maybe he will make a positive difference, but I don't think he has so far. But you can see he's looking at Seth a little bit concerned there. But and something else. I don't know if you saw any of the videos, because some of the YouTubers were there, weren't they? T-Rev was there, and Pascal was there. And that was another thing when Pascal called over T-Rev for a photo, or for to get on the live stream for a minute. Oh, T-Rev just looked tiny next to Pascal, because he's obviously it's a combination of a big guy and a little guy made T-Rev look smaller and Pascal made look bigger. It's like David and Goliath. This is a little bit the same, but yeah, it's interesting, because normally you see people on YouTube, don't you? And you don't get sense of how tall they are or anything, because you've just seen them close up. But it's interesting that.
It's mine.
Although the FBI and TBI have been assisting the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, Seth would now like to see the case turned over to the FBI to take the lead.
Yes, he keeps saying this. He wants it turned over to the FBI, but it's because he's got no information from the TBI. Apparently, TBI have been working with the FBI. Apparently, TBI are almost an equivalent of the FBI. So, but the thing is, they've got a bit peed off with Seth from the early days, when Seth was, blabbing a little bit when they were sharing information. I think they've made the decision now they're not going to share information with Seth anymore. And Seth keeps saying, oh, he's mine, he's my son, he's my son. And he is, but he's also Katie's son. And Chris, like it or lump it, he has been Sebastian's stepfather, for a while. So everyone is... Seth is sort of talking as if he's the only parent. He's not the only parent. And in fact, Sebastian was not living with him all the time. Sebastian didn't want to go and live with him in the end, or, not saying it was because of Seth. It was because of various things, wasn't it? Not least he didn't want to do online schooling. So Seth suddenly seems to have, as much as I feel for him, and believe me, I do feel for him, but these things that he's saying, as if he's the only parent and blaming Katie for everything. I just don't think it's right. And Tony was supposed to stop all that, be the voice of reason. He's been just as bad on TikTok.
I tell people, when you see something, say something. And then they turn around and they tell me they see something and they never get a response. They call the sheriff's department. A lady called me. She got my number. She was like, I waited over 4 hours and nobody showed up.
The Sumner County Sheriff's Office tells News 2 they do share in Seth's urgency and are following up on all tips. Another disappointment, Seth's driving all the way out to North Carolina after a possible sighting of Sebastian, only to be told he'd need to go through his local sheriff's office to see the surveillance. The sheriff's office tells News 2 ultimately it wasn't Sebastian.
I just wanted to see his body language, the way the child was walking, to see if it was possibly my son. And, the lady, her and her son, I would like to say thank you, because that gave me a little bit of hope.
News 2 asked the sheriff's office and the DA if they would consider turning the case over to the FBI. Investigators say they'll continue to work with other law enforcement agencies, and the DA didn't wish to comment on an ongoing investigation. Despite
It must be very frustrating for them, because you don't know what information they have got and what they are doing, what they're not doing. And I know it's frustrating for us, God knows how it feels for Seth, because, just for us, we think, oh my God, there's never any news. And, we're not Sebastian's dad. But I don't know if it's helping. I don't know what would help. He's probably dealing with things the best way he can deal with it. I suppose he lets his frustration show through. But they're not going to go to the FBI, with all due respect, Seth, just because you say you want them to. And I expect they are dealing with any genuine inquiries or tips. They are. Apparently, according to Chris and Katie, they talk with law enforcement every day. maybe if Seth changed his way of doing things and not being so prevalent in social media, etc., maybe or talkative, because sometimes Chris and Katie go on social media or whatever, but they don't give anything away that the police have told them not to give away. This is a difference. And I think for Seth to be to start being trusted by the police again, he's got to change this going on social media or slagging off the police publicly. They're not going to like it. It's not rocket science. You think Tony would have told him that.
Despite his concerns, Seth was encouraged by the more than 100 people who came out to support Sebastian Sunday.
It gives me hope that my son's case isn't going to become a cold case. And the only reason it'll become a cold case is if the sheriff's department doesn't drop their ego and ask for a new set of eyes.
Nikki McGee.
He keeps mentioning ego. Him and Chris were supposed to be dropping their egos, weren't they? And then he told everybody else if they couldn't drop their egos, they could F off. So Seth, gosh, I feel like I could be his PR person, but I couldn't because he wouldn't listen to me. The problem with Seth is he doesn't really listen to what people say. That's why he's lost so much support from the PIs and people that were helping him. And it's just a matter of time before Tony disappears as well, I suppose, because I don't think Seth actually takes anyone. He takes people on for advice and to help him, but he actually doesn't take anyone's advice.
News 2.
Because it's his son, not anybody else's, which is fair enough. It is his son. But, if you're going to take on someone to help you with PR or to help you deal with whatever, you do have to listen to what they tell you. You do have to let them do it. He's a micromanager and he needs to, if he's taking somebody on, he needs to listen to them. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that because I thought maybe you haven't seen it. I'd already lit a candle because I did a video just previously about Micah Miller, and I want to do another video about Rex Howerman, the Gilgo Beach murder, but I think I might leave that now until we find out exactly, because there'll be a press conference at some point telling us what they have or haven't found at Rex Howerman's house. I just want to spare, when I'm lighting the candle, talking of the candle, I want to spare a thought for Rex Howerman's family, because he has a wife and 2 kids, adult kids, who that won't be very nice having their home gone through again. So remember to live and love carefully and wisely. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, prayers for Sebastian, as always. Let's hope he's found safe and well very, very soon. May your God go with you. Bye.